This is called Marx as Classical Economist and Relevance for Today. This is for Julian's History of Economic Thought podcast. Why is Marx considered a classical economist? Well, it's because he's dealing with an objective cost of production. The marginalists' value becomes subjective, but Marx and the classicals, Smith, Marx, Ricardo, and sometimes J.S. Mill, are dealing with objective cost of production value. And so the classical economists look at the economy as two parts. One is reproduction of society, and the second is surplus generated from above and beyond reproduction. So it's reproduction of society plus the surplus generated equals the economy. And for Marx, of course, there's a fight over the surplus generated, which is the class struggle. Marx calls the surplus generated the surplus value, and the surplus value is where profit comes from, interest and land rent. It all comes out of the surplus value created by the exploited laborer. Marx followed Smith in productive versus unproductive labor. Productive labor creates goods and services with use value, the value of which is embodied labor in the commodity. So the final goods and services, the commodity, the value of that commodity, according to Marx and the classicals, is the labor embodied inside that commodity, within that commodity. The reason John Stuart Mill is maybe the last classical economist is because he still has a separate theory of aggregated distribution, unlike the marginalists. Marx's relevance for today. Well, goods created with AI don't necessarily have a lot of productive labor embodied in them. So, and we could call those goods instead of commodities to separate Marx's idea of a final goods and services. With the internet revolution, goods can have very little embodied labor. The digital economy is not a factory with exploited labor. It's not fundamentally a capitalism of commodity production as Marx saw it. Some writers today are even saying in the developed quote unquote world, we live in a new economy of abundance or superabundance, cognitive abundance due to the internet economy. Where Marx had a good idea about today was about fictitious capital. Capital which isn't used towards the supporting productive labor is fictitious capital. And we see this today in all the financialization created by central banks since the 2007-2008 financial crisis. And especially during the COVID, all this financialization and exotic instruments created under central banking, especially since the financial crisis, which has added to the financialization of what Marx would call unproductive capital or fictitious capital. Thank you.